Salutations to all our future judges. In this video, we are going to see the Code of Civil Procedure 1908. This particular Code of Civil Procedure 1908 was framed on 21st March 1908. However, it came into force on first day of January 1908. Let us move to the first section, which is preliminary, short title, commencement and extent. This particular act may be called or cited as the Code of Civil Procedure 1908. As I already told you, it came into force on 1st January 1909. Now let us move to the next subsection 3. This particular Code of Civil Procedure extends to whole of India except the state of Nagaland and tribal areas. Jammu and Kashmir was there, however, it was removed subsequently. Now, the question is, if I am saying that state of Nagaland and tribal areas are exempted from this, or it is not applicable to these areas, then is there an option for the state government to include these states as well as the tribal areas? The answer is yes. The state government may by notification in the official gazette extend the provisions of this code to whole or part of the state of Nagaland or such tribal areas as it may deem appropriate or fit. And these aspects or these notifications may be supplemental, incidental or consequential as specified in the notification. However, it is very essential that the notification is to be published in the official gazette. Now the question is, since they have stated tribal areas, what is the explanation for tribal areas, or what are all the areas which are covered under the term tribal area? So this includes territories which before 21st January 1972 were included in the tribal areas of Assam, as referred to in paragraph 20 of the 6th schedule of the Constitution. So now in exam a question could be asked like this: what is the cutoff date for determining whether an area is a tribal area or not? So the answer could be like 21st January 1972, 22nd January 1972, 21st February 1972, none of the above. So your answer should be 21st January 1972. The next question could be something like this: in which para of the Constitution the tribal areas included in the tribal areas of Assam were explained or found? The answer could be paragraph 20, paragraph 21st, paragraph 23, paragraph 25. The answer is paragraph 20. The next question is, in which schedule of the Constitution you find the explanation or the definition of the tribal areas, or the explanation with respect to the tribal areas of Assam? Then you have to mention the correct answer. The first may be 6th schedule or 1st schedule, 3rd schedule, 4th schedule. The answer is 6th schedule. So questions could be framed in this pattern. Now let us move to the next subsection 4. With respect to Amindavi Islands, East Godavari, West Godavari, Visakhapatnam in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Visakhapatnam is in the state of Andhra Pradesh, and Union Territory of Lakshadweep. In all these 5 areas, this code will apply. However, this will apply without prejudice to any of the rules or regulation which is in force in such islands or such union territory. So they say Visakhapatnam agencies, that is the term which has been used. So with respect to these islands, agencies or such union territory, this code will apply, but this should not be causing any prejudice, and it shall be applied without prejudice to the rule or regulation in those particular areas. So this could also be asked as a question. For example, they might ask you, in which area the civil procedure code is applicable without prejudice to the application of any rule or regulation of that particular island, agency or union territory. Answer number 1. Amindavi Islands, East Godavari, West Godavari, Visakhapatnam agencies. Answer number 2. Amindavi Islands, State of Kerala, State of Andhra Pradesh, State of Orissa. Third could be Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Fourth could be none of the above. So they can ask questions even in this pattern. So your answer should be the first one, which is Amindavi Islands, East Godavari, West Godavari, Visakhapatnam agencies. Section 2 speaks about definitions. So if there is anything which is repugnant in the subject or context, in that case, this particular definition will not apply. Let us move to subsection 1 under section 2. What is a code? As you all know, what we are saying is civil procedure code. So what this word code includes is a question. This code includes rules. Generally, it stipulates what you have to do. As simple as that. Now let us move to the subsection 2. Decree. What is a decree? Decree is something which is a formal expression of an adjudication. As simple as that. So, case is going on. So many things are decided in a case. A conclusive or a formal way of expressing what has happened is called as a decree. And what is conclusively determined, or where the rights of a parties are determined in a conclusive manner with regard to all the matters in controversy or any of the matters in controversy. And this could be either preliminary or final. Now, the next question arising in our mind is, what is covered under the word decree? What is not covered under the word decree? Rejection of plaint is included in a decree. And any question which arises under section 144 or which needs to be determined under section 144 is covered under decree. Then what is not included? That is the next question. So many a times questions have been asked from this particular section, from these aspects. Then what it does not include? An adjudication from which an appeal lies, as an appeal from an order. So wherever you can file an appeal, that will not get included in this, provided it's an adjudication from which an appeal is lying. Or any order of dismissal for default. If a suit is dismissed for default, that is not covered under decree. Now they are given an explanation. Let us see what is the explanation. When a decree is preliminary, the question is answered here. If there are some things left undisposed or a suit is not completely disposed, in that case, a decree is considered to be preliminary. If it is final, when the suit is completely disposed of, all the questions in the suit have been answered, no question is left unanswered. But one more explanation they are giving. This decree can be partly preliminary as well as partly final. It need not be fully preliminary, it need not be fully final. It can be partly preliminary and partly final as well. Let us move to subsection 3. Decree holder. Who is a decree holder? A person in whose favor a decree is given is a decree holder. Or if there is an order which is capable of execution, in that case also the person in whose favor the order is given is a decree holder. It is not a decree, it is an order, but still that person is called as a decree holder. Now let us move to subsection 4. District. So what the word district actually means in this particular context? It actually means the local limits within which the principal civil court of original jurisdiction, that is the first court which we approach for a case, the initial stage when we approach a court, the place where that court is exercising its jurisdiction, the local limits within which it is exercising its jurisdiction is called a district. And it also includes the local limits of the ordinary original civil jurisdiction, of High Court. So, if a High Court is exercising its jurisdiction in a particular limit under ordinary original jurisdiction, in that case, that area or that part is also called a district. Let us move to subsection 5 now. What is a foreign court? Foreign court is a court which is situated outside India. That is from a normal perspective. And they are giving one more aspect which should also go along with this. Foreign court is a court which is not established or continued by the authority of the central government of India. So the simple fact is that court should not have been established by the Indian government. That court should not be continued by the authority of the central government. So these two things are important. Let us move to subsection 6. Foreign judgment. What is a foreign judgment? Generally, any judgment given by a foreign court is a foreign judgment. Let us move to subsection 7. Government pleader. Who is a government pleader? Any officer, anyone appointed by state government, he is a government pleader. 1. The second aspect is he has to perform the functions stipulated under this code or expressly imposed by this code. And the third aspect is that any person acting under the direction of the government pleader, if he is obeying the words of the government pleader and doing something based on his direction, that person is also considered to be a government pleader. He is falling under the definition of government pleader. Section 7A. This section 7A was inserted with effect from 1/4/1951. Section 7A and 7B both were actually inserted. Section 7A says that the High Court with respect to Andaman and Nicobar Islands means the High Court of Calcutta. High Court of Calcutta is the High Court for Andaman and Nicobar Islands. And 7B defines India. So India means territory of India, as simple as that. That is what they are given as a definition. Initially, state of Jammu and Kashmir was excluded, but now it is included. However, there are certain exceptions to this particular section with respect to the definition India. The sections are 1, section 29, 43, 44, 44A, 78, 79, 82, 83 and 87A. If you like the video, please do press the thumbs up button and leave your comments in the comment section. And do subscribe the channel and also share the channel with your friends. Let us join hands together and contribute for a learned society. Thank you.